Well, it's been a long time coming, but I'm ready to talk about Roy Cohn's least favorite band.
First rule is the simplest: attack, attack, attack.
I was gonna say that I'm actually very disappointed because I just now realized that we're covering the American band Attack Attack, and I just spent the last 4 weeks listening to the discography of the Welsh band.
You thought I was a little more excited when I said the first Attack.
Yes, they're Attack Attack with two exclamation points.
Not to be confused with Attack Attack 2, the best album of all time. I genuinely don't remember discovering Attack Attack when that happened. They always have been, but I can't tell you more than that, other than I was in a metalcore band at the time, and to me, I feel like Prada and Attack Attack were the most bands that we wanted to emulate. The electronic influence and the funny song titles, and I mean, it's just the Joey Sturgis sound really defined that era, which I look back at it, and it didn't last that long, but it felt very long and influential at the time. I mean, he took basically everyone on Rise Records, I feel like, was Sturgis. How did you get into them?
It was actually because of you. You made me a mix CD, and it was like
that's like every episode so far.
Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, it's like, okay, well, Joey introduced me to this band. I didn't listen to a lot of this
but
kind
specifically
of stuff,
with a mix CD, which also makes us seem like I guess we are in our 30s now. But I was like, it really ages us.
Yeah, but it makes us feel like a little bit more like late 30s because like whenever you gave me this was like my freshman year of college, it was already like kind of going out of style at that point.
Yeah.
But I was never like super deep into Attack Attack. Never got into them as much as I did maybe like Devil Wears Prada or some other band.
They're such a unique band and very memeable. Like there's so much drama that could fill pages. It probably isn't an actual record or anything, but I think that for my knowledge, they're the band with the most vocalist transitions, including vocalists that don't even appear on a single release. They have four vocalists that never actually made it to an album. Because Ricky Lortz was their first clean singer before Johnny Frank, and then they had Nick Barham in between Austin Carlisle and Caleb, and then Phil Droyer joined, and they put out a song, and then they were like, no, let's change bands entirely. And I'll save the rest of that for our Native episode whenever we get to that. Because I think you and I, my friend, are the biggest Native fans in the world because we're the only ones who keep that band's memory alive.
I think we're bigger fans of Native than the actual band members were.
Absolutely. I mean, we saw them live, and not very many people can say that. Not many people can say that, and the people that can say that, how many of them remember that? And then they had another singer, but he was touring only, so Sean Mikowski. Shout out to you. I don't know if you are. But should we jump into the albums?
Yeah, sure.
All right, November 2008, Rise Records, we got Someday Came Suddenly. Personally, I do think this is a great album. I think that I'm probably wearing some rose-tinted glasses for nostalgia coming up with it, but it is a super fun mix of heavy music and electronic influences. They are not at all afraid to do a heel turn in the middle of a song and hit you with a party club vibe. We have a very strange but present mix of earnest faith-based lyrics and also like scene kid melodrama. And so also I think that appealed to me as a Christian coming up. You know, they were definitely marketed as a Christian band at this time. I found that a little bit more accessible. I love Austin's screams. I've always enjoyed Austin Carlisle's tone, especially the younger he is. Johnny Frank, really enjoy his vocals. They definitely leaned into the auto-tune in this time, which I don't know how leading the pack they were as far as that goes. I know that was really mocked at the time and looked down on, but I think it was just a fun choice. Obviously, especially if you listen to like Bill Murray now, Johnny Frank's a great singer. He can sing. So I don't think it was like hiding imperfections as much as it was just like, how else can we stand out sonically? I love the interlude. I don't know how unique that was at the time, but it felt really unique, that like complete dance break. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah. But it's literally called Interlude, isn't it?
Yeah. And it's just like a techno thing.
That was pretty nice.
So I feel like it's definitely one of the Mount Rushmore releases for like the Sturgis sound era. I got this in my one slot. Obviously, it's their first album. Talk to me. What do you think about it?
I think it's good. I don't think I quite hold it as high as you do. I don't think it gets as good as like Roots Above or Plagues from Devil Wears Prada.
Sure.
A lot of it feels, and this is kind of going to be a theme through about half of their discography, is that I like the album when I'm listening to it. Most of the songs, other than Hot Girls and High Tops, I don't feel the need to go back to individually, and I feel that with Prada.
I think you probably mean Stick Stickly.
yeah. Oh yeah, it's all one big song. I feel like it's kind of a transition period. There was that. It feels like a mix of several incongruent things. You're really like chaotic metalcore stuff, kind of coming from like Norma Jean or Every Time I Die or maybe Botch, like the very earlier 2000s era of metalcore that wasn't quite as poppy, and then mixed with something like maybe this is coming. Maybe I'm not good on the timeline here, but something like 303, where it was kind of like Scene Kid adjacent, but it was very poppy. And it's kind of like combining a couple of different things together that feel like they shouldn't work, and they do.
Yeah.
It definitely feels amateurish in a good way. It's kind of like they're not. They're just kind of like coming up with like ideas like, oh, this would be kind of cool or funny, and let's do this. And it feels very sincere. Again, like you said, it's got like the mix of like scene kid melodrama and then like very earnest like Christian lyrics, and I feel like it very does definitely captures both a moment in time in the sense of like when it came out in 2008, and also just kind of a moment in time in that I don't think this record really could have been made by people who weren't at that particular age and point in life. So I think it's a really good, solid album. I feel like it doesn't rise to the level of like Roots Above or Plague, but again, nothing else really does.
Yeah, I think I'm in agreement with you there. I think this is just the purest Attack Attack record. Like when you think of them, even though every album is so different, this is just them as kids doing what came naturally, and they didn't know enough to know better in any regard, musically or lyrically.
It doesn't quite feel like it's following a trend in a calculated way. Like obviously it's influenced by the trends of that time, but that's because these are kids playing that kind of music, and it feels like they're just kind of, oh, here's what's popular, let's put it together because we like it. Not in the sense of like in some of their later stuff, like here's what's popular and let's do it so that we can get people to listen to our music, if that makes sense.
Yeah. Then Heartache, Austin Carlisle is kicked out of the band. And then Caleb Shomo moves from just synths over to these heavy vocals, and we've got Attack Attack, the self-titled album, 2 years later from June of 2010. And it's a big shift sonically. There's a lot of heavier chugging. I mean, on the lead single, Sexual Man Chocolate, we move from like very synthy to, I mean, it's still synthesized. Is that a word?
Synthesized. Although I don't think that's what
it's still what I mean. It's still fake, but we're doing like natural pianos as opposed to like keyboard sounding. And then we also have like a ton of weirder singy stuff, like Shut Your Mouth, which I'm like, what is this doing here? I don't need this on an Attack Attack record. So I felt like I was really shut your mouth, baby. I think that Loving Someday came suddenly. It is such a departure from that it was just very jarring for me in a negative way. So yeah, like I just don't know how to interpret Shut Your Mouth. Not that the whole album's about that, but I'm like, is it ironic? Is it sincere? But you also have great bangers like Smoke a Hannes, A for Andrew. I love that intro, and Sexual Man Chocolate, the lead single. You also have very angry at Austin Carlisle songs like AC 130, when I'm like, oh, interesting. We wish he was dead. It still feels like it's them, and in terms of it sort of just still feels like they're doing whatever they want. I don't know, and not trying to please somebody. What are your thoughts?
I like this album alright. I don't like it as much as the previous one. There's some songs I really like, Sexual Man Chocolate, but really about the first 4 songs I like, and then the rest of it's kind of okay. I actually kind of like Shut Your Mouth, but it feels like it's of a piece with the previous album, where it kind of takes the very pop at that time had a very kind of tacky sound and a very tacky kind of aura to it, I guess. And that kind of fit. It feels like a Cobra Starship or 303 kind of song. I feel like the guitar parts are less interesting. I mean, the song structure is a lot more predictable. The guitar parts I feel like, less interesting, and it's got more of this kind of industrial, may not be the right word because it's a genre of music, but this very kind of cold, metallic, not very warm kind of guitar tone to it. And I don't like Caleb Shomo's screaming vocals really that much. His vocals just kind of sound like they don't have a lot of texture to them, especially compared to Austin Carlisle. I mean, he feels very kind of monotone in the way he screams, and he feels like he doesn't have a lot of grit behind it. So I'd say that this is another album where I think even more so than the first one, I like it when I'm listening to it, and then when I'm not listening to it, it's like, oh, okay, that's kind of there. But it definitely feels, to me, it feels like it's a different band. The guitar tone sounds different. The song structure sounds different. Johnny Frank, I didn't even realize it was the same vocalist. I thought it was a different guy. So to me, I mean, this band kind of feels like Under Oath until we get to like the post hiatus stuff, where like every album feels like a completely different band, and to some degree they are.
That's a great point. It does feel like every album they are a different band. Rise Records at this time was so into doing the deluxe reissues where they'd put 4 new tracks at the front and then a couple bonus at the back. Of Mice and Men did it with The Flood. I can't remember another band right now that did it, but Attack Attack had this album as well. Did you listen to any of those 4 tracks at all? Or
no, I didn't. I did because I didn't want to mess with the track listing, and I assumed they were like B-sides or something.
They were written afterwards. Nothing's crazy. I mean, if you like Shut Your Mouth, there's a couple too on there that you would like, but I actually really do like Pick a Side. And I think it bridges the gap well between this album and what comes in the future, because Caleb's vocals are starting to sound a little bit different. And but we don't need to spend a ton of time talking about it. Although, side note, I do have the demo version of one of the songs, which is just, I don't know where else to put this out into the world. But so they play House of Blues. It's actually one of the first metalcore shows I ever go to. And they're like, check out this new stuff we're writing. And they play, and they're like, it's online right now. It was like a 40-second sample. And at this time, Safari, the web browser I used, had fewer restrictions, and I could like go into the developer part of a page and have it download locally to my computer as it was downloading the stream. And I called it hacking. I don't know how you really define hacking, so maybe it was hacking because it wasn't available for public download. But as a kid, I was like, oh, I hacked into the page. So I still have that demo. It's been long since removed, and they completely reworked the song. So I just feel like I have this really rare artifact of Attack Attack history. I'll probably throw it at the end of this video.
Please do.
For the Big Attack Attack.
I thought that was kind of a cool story.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, it is kind of a fun one because they redid it, and I don't know which one I like better. It's the same chorus words, but totally different sound. You'll hear it, and you'll know the difference. All right, and then Johnny leaves the band. Johnny wants to go. At the time, it had to do with his relationship with God, and I don't think anyone else leaves because they're a quartet at this point. But we have This Means War, January 2012. Yet again, a very big sonic shift. Caleb Shomo takes the center stage here because he's handling all the vocal duties and also production. Knowing how young he was, I think it's impressive that he was able to do this, but I also think it's evident that he is young and inexperienced. I think the production is a little tinny. It really feels like Beartooth Jr. in terms of the overall, his vocal style, the energy of the record. It's got a live band feel. Do you not like Beartooth?
Beartooth's just kind of okay. Don't overthink that.
Especially if you look at the first Beartooth album and this one, it's just like a lot of in-your-face, like immediate, high, a sonic wall of sound type stuff. Like everything's just mixed really loudly. We've moved away from any faith-based lyricism, and it's kind of a bigger focus on mental health and personal struggles, which is a big part of Caleb's writing. I think, to me, even though each of the albums has their own sound, this one sounds the most similar within itself. Like, if you've listened to one or two songs, you feel like you've heard them all. The album really blends together. It's hard to think back and pick out parts, especially because we've removed a lot of the electronic production. So songs don't have as many like unique breakdowns or interludes. I feel like it was really negatively received at the time, and so I feel like I come to it with a little bit more of a defensive edge because I can see what I do like about it, but I still have it third overall. I think that to this point, every album has been worse than its predecessor.
Okay, so first of all, I think, I don't know if you looked into this or not. I try to avoid background knowledge about these when I'm going through these discographies, just so I can approach the music as a whole. But like,
I'm the exact opposite.
Is there a storyline? Because this sounded to me like it's about like some kind of story about some dude trying to rescue his son or something. Like, that's what I assumed. It was like they were becoming like a...
read today that it was the band, it was like a war story, and it was a metaphor for the band going out on tour.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because it sounded to me, it gave me the vibes of really like, of like a Coheed Cambria album, or like the Black Parade or something, where there's some sort of story, but I don't really know all the bits and pieces of it. But yeah, I think I kind of agree with you. The songs all feel very samey. They're not really bad. I mean, nothing on here is like offensive, and it's not really even bland. It's just kind of like good, but not great.
Yeah.
Like if it feels like local good. Like if this was a local band, it'd be like, oh yeah, these guys are really cool. But it
Sure.
doesn't feel like it's going anywhere. It's a little generic. I think partially because since they ditch all the pop elements and most of the keyboards and everything, there's not anything like the interlude or like Shut Your Mouth or anything that kind of uh, gives it a little more of like some lows. It's just all highs constantly, and it's all
Like
kind of
Berkshire.
one note. But yeah, there's no like way, no kind of parts where you can kind of stop and catch your breath, so to speak. And then I didn't even realize it was Caleb Shomo still on it. I thought they got a whole new vocalist because he sounds like his voice is about to crack half the time. Which
Yeah.
sometimes I listen to this and it kind of gives me a little. It kind of feels kind of amateurish and kind of nice in that way. And sometimes I'm like, okay, these screams are not that great. Um,
Mm.
Only song that really sticks with me was The Reality, which I kind of thought had a good chorus, but the rest of it just feels kind of competent, but it lacks any kind of real like. It feels like cake with no icing, I guess. There's nothing that really kicks it to the next level. There's the melody, the choruses are okay, but they're not like super memorable, and it's not like they really want you to want to sing. The breakdowns are good, but they're not like, wow, this is the greatest breakdown. And there's nothing like that really comes out of left field like you would see in the first album, where they just pivot on a dime from like a breakdown to a build up or a chorus or something where you don't expect it. It all feels very kind of by the numbers. So I'd say a solid album. I actually think I like it better than Attack Attack One.
Mm.
It's not like a must listen. It's one of those like I feel like it's kind of on your B or C tier of metalcore bands from that era. It's like when you listen to all the other stuff and you still need to listen to more metalcore, then you go to this album.
I think it's also the most evident that they're like trying hard to be accepted as mature songwriters at this point. Like, because they were getting dunked on all the time for, their crabcore video or just being a joke, and the auto tune and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, we ditch auto tune here. Every song starts with the, and they're just like very serious. And so I think in terms of like we touched on the sincerity of the early releases, I think this is the one where it feels like they're chasing things that are outside of themselves more, and also like leaning gent, which I felt like was a musical trend at the time. That's interesting, though, that you have it slotted too. That feels more damning of the self-titled album than it is praise of this one.
I think the Caleb Shomo, from what I've heard of Beartooth, he has gotten a good deal better at screaming than on his first two albums, or one sounds monotone.
I mean, he's 19 years old when he does this. Isn't that crazy?
That is pretty impressive that he was
like.
Well, I mean, how old
he's
was
writing
that?
This? He's producing it.
17 when he was doing his one before that.
Yeah, I mean, he joined the band so young. I think. I mean, 4 years. I think he was like 15 or so.
Yeah, that is pretty.
Whereas like Austin was 24, so they ran the gamut in those first years. No wonder they had such discord, and no wonder he struggled with so much depression. I mean, there's a lot of his life that I don't know, but to hit the road so young and to be forced with so much criticism as a teenager is very difficult.
Oh god.
So from that element, I'm very empathetic or sympathetic, whichever one is more applicable to him and to this album. Like I don't need to crap on it, but for me, it's descension order. But I still enjoy it. I can throw it on. Really like the riff to the family. I enjoy that one. All right, and then a whole lot of life happens, and we jump 13 years ahead. We are left with just Andrew, the drummer, at this point. New vocalists, new guitarists, new bassist, everything. And we have Attack Attack 2, which, by the way, I was in favor of them rebranding as Attack Attack ? But I got downvoted on Reddit, so I guess the world doesn't like that idea. It feels like AI to me. AI slop is what I had written down. It doesn't feel like it's trying to say anything sincere. And it has some, like, if I'm being honest, I think there are some nice, catchy parts. Especially, I mean, that's actually really the only nice thing I can say, is that some of the choruses are genuinely really catchy. Dance is too explicit, but very catchy from the first time I hear it, and I want to throw my hands up. Yeah, it feels like, I don't know how to well say this, including that sentence. It feels like your friends threw something together in their bedroom and they're just showing it to you. Like they're not aware that they have an actual platform or like they're professional musicians. Like I'm thinking right now of the I Can Play in an R metalcore with like the what am I even saying in the song? Whatever I want. It feels like, it's like your high school friend showing you like this is kind of funny, right? And it's like, yeah, if the stakes are lower, I get it, but you're a band that's touring and you're putting stuff out. Like have some respect for yourself. New Attack Attack is very obviously just a cash grab at relevance of like trying to reclaim the name. So I understand that. I don't need to act as though it's not that. But within the context of these 4 albums, it is an Attack Attack album, so I am reviewing it. I think it's obviously the worst, so all my Attack Attack discography, just each album is worse than its predecessor. Yeah, that's all I have for it. I know you're going to hate it.
So the Roman Emperor Otho, he lost his battle one time, and he committed suicide rather than have Rome descend into a civil war. It would have taken a lot less for the remaining members of Attack Attack to avoid releasing this album, and yet they still did, proving that the decline of Western civilization is a true phenomenon that we are witnessing even to this day. Now, I forced myself to listen to the 3 EPs before this, which all get successively worse and worse.
I agree with that.
But somehow I didn't realize that we could go from just incredibly bland to outright offensive. Starting with the first track, One Hit Wonder, which I think is actually written by ChatGPT. You said AI slop. Let me read you these lyrics. I'm a one-hit wonder, plug-in and player, right in the gamer, end of the dayer. I want to apologize to Under Oath for everything bad I said about their last 3 albums. The very least I can say is that 3 vodkas deep effing dynamite is possibly a sincere lyric that reflects something that someone at some point actually said in the English language and experienced. Right in the gamer is not English. This is not a phrase that anyone other than Attack Attack and myself reading these lyrics has ever said in their entire life. What does this mean? What is with I Complain on r/metalcore? This is the worst song that I've ever heard in my entire life. Why are we beginning with Call Me Craig Durst? Like, Big Booty Britches. I suppose you thought that was terribly clever. Like, this entire album it feels like the soundtrack to either, like, a high school football highlights reel or an AI-generated movie trailer with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson in it. I hate all of this. I hate this in the last 3 albums. It feels like it's spitting on all of the sincerity of the first album and that era of metalcore, trying to take something that to some degree was sincere and kind of reflected the kind of unfiltered thoughts of teenagers of that era and making it this awful nostalgia grab. And then the one last thing I'll say, which is actually kind of serious, is I was listening to this, especially the EPs before this, because they're a little more serious in their lyrics. I just realized with listening to this and then like the new Under Oath albums and then kind of other stuff in this kind of radio rock, Octane, Sirius, what is it called, Octane FM, that Sirius channel, or rock, the kind of bands that play at Rocklahoma. This stuff feels to me like it's not music that's meant to like be anything close to an original kind of creative expression. It's like a lifestyle brand accessory, kind of like pop country to me. And similar to pop country, I feel like it actually, and this is my serious point, I feel like it's actually not just encouraging a lifestyle, but encouraging one that's really negative and bad and self-destructive. Because if you listen to all these lyrics of this and similar bands, it's all about the same 3. You basically have about like 3 or 4 different songs. There's the I'm in a horrible, toxic relationship, but I don't care, it's awesome song. There's the Life is a living hell and I'm not going to do anything about it song. And then there's the All my friends are losers like me and I don't care, this is awesome song. And it's just like, this feels like when I think about like the kind of, I don't know, not PC way to say it, but the kind of the white trashy demographic that this is targeting, and I think of people and including people that I know in real life, where it's like they have a lot of problems, but a lot of them are like what's the word, self-imposed. And I think of people who are in bad relationships, who are addicted to drugs and alcohol, and this just feels like it's just encouraging that kind of stuff. And it's just, and with the whole the old obligatory angry, I'm mad at you. There's always this you that's undefined. It just feels like it's taking a bunch of bad attitudes, and it doesn't have, like, if you listen to something like Slipknot, which has a similar, they do a bunch of like hateful and dark stuff, but it felt like with them, for example, or like Breaking Benjamin, there was also this element of like self-improvement and kind of like a hopefulness, and like, yeah, maybe everything sucks, but I'm actually going to do something to better myself. And it seems like this is completely gone, like here and Under Oath. There's nothing like that. It's just all like life sucks, and I'm just going to accept it. And I don't know. That's very much the opposite of how I live and kind of what I want to hear in music, and it just kind of makes me mad. But yeah, even besides all that, it's still just an awful and boring album.
Yeah, I also agree with you that the EPs are also released in like successively worse order, even including their original EP, which functions more like a demo. But the If Guns Are Outlawed, Can We Use Swords? Yeah, it feels like all of New Attack Attack is like thinking back on what Attack Attack was and trying to recapture that, but like missing what made it special at their best. And I think that's especially evident especially happening because they're not the same guys. So it's like you're trying to fill someone else's shoes. So maybe if they continue on, they'll try to do more original work, especially because now this iteration of the band, other than losing their original guitarist, has been together longer than any of the original run. So
that's crazy.
So maybe it will continue to be more of their own,
Yeah, my thought about Attack Attack, what was it? Oh, my two thoughts. One, if you want to speed run like becoming an atheist, join a metalcore band. I feel like every single metalcore band, their first album is like, we're a Christian band, and like 2 albums later, like, nope. At some point, I'm gonna write a metalcore song, like a kind of a story song, but about like a band that like becomes like, atheist, or somebody who becomes an atheist in the midst of the song. Like, and that's gonna be like the narrative or something.
That's good. Yeah, I read today as part of the blog of when they talked about kicking Austin out. Wetzel, or one of the Andrews, wrote, I'm going to answer a question I get asked a lot. We are not a Christian band. I don't even know how many times we've said it, but we aren't. And then he puts in quotes, but your lyrics have some Christian meaning in them. And people write lyrics about murdering, but that doesn't mean they are murderers.
Yeah, I'm sure this band that had said shout out to the Holy Spirit, it was definitely not a Christian band at that point. I wonder if they just realized they weren't making any money off that, or I don't know. My other point
honestly, I think Austin and Johnny were both more interested in the faith elements. I mean, if you go and look at Of Mice and Men's first album, Austin again is writing about the Holy Spirit and Christian life.
Yeah,
and Johnny left Attack to focus on his relationship with God. So then you remove both of those people, and it's like, well, we're not writing about faith-related things. Although Caleb goes on to have faith trouble too, so whatever.
That's all the Attack song, the thoughts I have, other than my albums or my top 5 songs, I guess.
Yeah, give me your top 5. I'll have to go choose some right now.
Gotcha. It's kind of hard because I feel like the albums, they are fairly kind of consistent with song quality across the albums. Nothing really like sticks out on the first 3, but nothing's really awful. So I'll go with Hot Grills / Stick Stickly and Bro Ashley's Here off the first album. I'll say I Swear I'll Change and Sexual Man Chocolate off the second album, and then The Reality off the third album, and absolutely nothing off the fourth album.
I mean, Stick Sickly has to be one. Catfish Soup, probably. I should just choose Dr. Zhivago parts 1, 2, and 3. Sexual Man Chocolate, for sure. I want to give representation to all the other albums, but yeah, realistically, it would probably be A for Andrew and Smokeahonis or Interlude. But I don't know, it's tough. Yeah. All right, I don't have any good jokes or memes to end in. Oh, I guess I will show the rare Attack artifact that I have the 40-second little jingle. Uh, enjoy.